Hey friends, I am steadily catching up on my monthly reading wrap-ups. In May of 2020, I was participating in the Bookémon Readathon, and it was so much fun. My Bookémon was Gyarados, which is a water and flying type, so I got bonus points for reading comics and for reading books with beautiful covers. So I read a bunch of comics with beautiful covers. In fact, I read 17 books and 12 of those were comics, so let's start this video by talking about those comics. I read the first 6 volumes of the Steven Universe series that began in 2017. I'm a fan of the show and I really liked the stories featured here. They really feel like they could have been episodes. I do, however, wish there was a storyline across multiple issues, since that's one of the things the show did really well. The team behind the series was really amazing though. Volume 1, Warp Tour, and Volume 2, Punching Up, were written by Melanie Gilman, and Grace Kraft started writing in Volume 2. Grace Kraft is the lead writer in Volume 3, Field Researching, Volume 4, Just Right, Volume 5, Find a Way, and Volume 6, Playing by Ear. The illustrations in this series are also truly special. The art is from Katie Farina, Missy Pena, and Ria Brego. Overall, the Steven Universe comics are fun and the art is beautiful. I'm giving volumes 1 through 6 of Steven Universe 4 stars. If you've been around for a while, you know that I've been reading the Paper Girls series, and now I've finished reading it. The 6th and final volume of Paper Girls by Brian K. Vaughan, Cliff Chiang, and Matt Wilson was something I had to get my hands on. It's a great sci-fi adventure about time travel, a time war, and the 4 paper girls from 1988 who get caught up in it as they try to go home. I'm giving the 6th volume of Paper Girls 4 stars. I also wanted to try out some new series. As much as I love reading comics, my husband Victor loves writing them, so he recommended some things for me to try. Dial H for Hero Volume 1, Enter the Heroverse by Sam Humphries, Joe Quinones, Eris Then, Scott Hanna, Tom Fowler, Mike Allred, Jordan Gibson, and Dave Sharp. This is one of the books published under the new Brian Michael Bendis imprint Wonder Comics, which is geared towards young heroes. A young man in a life or death situation receives a rotary phone that allows him to become a random superhero for 1 hour. I loved all of the creative heroes that they became. It was really fun. I'm giving Dial H for Heroes Volume 1, Enter the Heroverse 4 stars. Astro Lost in Space Volume 1 by Kenta Shinohara. In the year 2063, interstellar space travel is so normal that a group of high school students are sent away on a trip to Planet Camp. And it is absolutely ordinary. Until these students are mysteriously transported by a giant ball of death to the cold, empty void of space 5,000 light years away from home. They're lucky to find an abandoned spaceship in the middle of nowhere. These strangers, these children must work together if they're ever going to make it back home. The anime was recently dubbed, and I actually watched it last week on Hulu. I'm giving Astro Lost in Space Volume 1 4 stars. Cosmo Nights by Hannah Templar was pitched to me as a story about space lesbians. As it turns out, it is a story about space lesbians literally fighting the patriarchy as gladiators in a neo-medieval interstellar society as champions to win the marriage of a princess. It was so fun. The concept was amazing. The story was well written. I'm giving Cosmo Nights by Hannah Templar 4 stars. Heavy Vinyl Volume 1, Ride on the Radio by Carly Uzin and Nina Bakueva is a period piece that was originally published under the title High Five Fight Club. I believe that there was some copyright complaints when it was first published. This series has an excellent concept. A group of girls work at a record store in the late 90s, and in the basement of the store, they are part of a secret feminist fight club. It's also gay. Unfortunately, the execution of this idea wasn't very strong. The story could have been more cohesive and it often felt rushed. I had a lot of fun reading it though. I'm giving Heavy Vinyl Volume 1, Ride on the Radio 3 stars. Let's switch genres for a bit because I read 2 young adult fiction books. The Princess Diaries by Meg Cabot. I've actually never read this series before, which might be a surprise to people given just how many young adult books I read. But I read this while listening to the podcast The Cabot Cast, which is currently on hiatus. I found the book to be incredibly Gen X. It is very much so locked in time, that time being the early 2000s. It was a really fun and interesting story though. I'm giving The Princess Diaries by Meg Cabot 4 stars. The Lost Hero by Rick Riordan is the first book in the Heroes of Olympus series. This introduces us to Jason, who has amnesia, Piper, who on top of her boyfriend not remembering her, is dealing with the fact that her dad has been missing for days, and Leo, who is just trying to help his two best friends. Well, he's seeing ghosts and trying to break the curse of the Hephaestus cabin. This adventure is totally epic, and also based on epics. I loved this book. I'm giving The Lost Hero by Rick Riordan 4 stars. I read one classic book, Emily's Quest by Ella Montgomery. This is the final book in the Emily Starr trilogy. Emily is all grown up and trying to figure out if she has what it takes to be a writer. And she's also heartbroken because her sweetheart Teddy Kent left to study art. It's a beautiful ending to the series. I'm giving Emily's Quest by Ella Montgomery 4 stars. Finally, I read 3 non-fiction books. Our Revolution, A Future to Believe In by Bernie Sanders. It's part memoir and part manifesto. The first half of the book details Senator Sanders' political career, ending with his defeat in the 2016 presidential primary. The second half of the book is an agenda for progressive change. Senator Sanders' passion really comes through in this book, but honestly, it felt tedious at points, with it beginning to feel like a dense lecture. I'm giving Our Revolution by Bernie Sanders 4 stars. The Personality Brokers, The Strange History of Myers-Briggs and the Birth of Personality Testing by Merv Emra. This book was a recommendation from Nicole Sweeney, whose channel you can find by opening up the bookshelf down below. This book gave me really important information, like the Myers-Briggs test was created by a mother-daughter team of fiction writers who had not studied psychology, and also that it is currently a $2 billion industry. Everything here was intensely interesting and really informed the way that I view both the Myers-Briggs test and the way that we use it everywhere, all the time. I'm giving Personality Brokers by Merv Emra 4 stars. Last but not least, I read Persepolis 2, The Story of Return by Marjwan Satrapi. It is a memoir in comic form, and about the author returning to Iran to see how much the country has changed in her absence. I thought it was fine. I'm giving Persepolis 2 by Marjwan Satrapi 3 stars. Those are all 17 books I read in May for the Bookémon Readathon. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of these books, and if you want to see more from me, please subscribe, watch another video of mine, or support me on Patreon. And hey, I love you.